So, before I get into the actual testimony I wanted to say, I wanted to give you a little bit of my backstory of my life, just so you can get some understanding as to where I've been with the Lord and how He's grown this, which came to full revelation on the 23rd of September. So I was originally born normal. I had a twin brother, and I was adopted in Florida. But my biological mother had some substance abuse issues. And because of these issues, she ended up hurting me pretty badly. And as a result, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at the age of 4 years old. And so from that point on, I had a series of 20 different operations, or procedures, if you will, on my legs to try and correct my muscles and my tendons that weren't growing. All these things I had to, I was working through, and I didn't really know of God much as I was growing up, because I was mostly hospital bound when I was a kid. And so, but as I began to grow up in a place of loneliness and rejection, where there wasn't really much, my family wasn't there much, my parents weren't there much, God began to pull me closer to Himself. And as that happened, there were nights when I was laying on my backside and I had these bars in my legs, and I was like wondering, like, Lord, where are you? What are you doing? And I heard His still small voice say to me, Joseph, just close your eyes and go to sleep. It'll be morning before you know it. And He kept on saying that to me moment after moment, every time I got tired and I got restless. And so from that point on, as a kid, I really began to grow up in understanding, oh, this is my Father, He's my Father. And despite the challenges with living in an adopted home and parental abuse and all that stuff, God began to further confirm who He was in my life. And so I've had a wheelchair for like 3 or 4 times in my life. I mainly use it for long distances and trying to get around the places where it was tough. Before I had tried to walk, but it never really worked. It never really clicked. I could never really get anywhere without being exhausted or tired. And so as the past Saturday on the 23rd came closer, I felt the Lord saying, from before, people had said, the Lord's going to heal you, He's going to heal you, He's going to heal you. I said, okay, Lord, I'm ready. And so on that night, on that Saturday, we were all worshiping, and the pastor was there, and he said, press in. And I said, okay, I'll press in. And I could just feel fire all over my body, like it says in the Bible, like fire all over my body, heat, and I could feel strength coming into my calves and ankles and muscles and tendons, everything working. And all of a sudden, he said, stand up, Joseph, stand up. And so I stood up, and I said, okay, Lord. And it was different from before, because before I had tried, and I could stand, but it was just different. And so I stood up. And then He said, okay, you're healed. I said, oh, okay, all right, thank you, Lord. And so from that point on, I've been able to walk steadily with more stamina. I could feel the muscles working in my calves and around my legs in places I never even used before. And He said to me, the morning I woke up, the next morning, He said, I've given you new shoes. And there were a pair of shoes sitting in my bedside, and He said, it's going to hurt for a while until you break these shoes in, speaking to my body. It's going to hurt until I teach you how to walk. Because he could have done it instantly there, but I would have not learned how to have the faith to walk in faith. For it says in the Word, we walk by faith and not by sight. And for the benefit of me and the other people I'm going to be reaching, He wants me to walk every day saying, thank you, Jesus, for healing me. Thank you, Jesus, for healing me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, God is good.
God is good.